And to sum it up, 10 years or 12 years ago, the American Administration for Aviation, the FAA, said, hey, we have a problem. There are so many DC-3s flying around. We need to know, is it safe? So they took the oldest one they could find in America. It has over 90,000 hours of flight time. They took it to a laboratory and tried to break it. And it said that the aircraft didn't move, but the equipment broke. And so the FAA stated in a very famous document that as long as a DC-3 is properly maintained, it has no life limit. So if you want to see what eternity looks like when it's translated into aviation, this is it. Her Majesty, the DC-3. If you have the money and want to travel in style, and if time is no problem for you, if you're not in a hurry, buy one and fly it. Interesting, with the DC-3 happened the same thing which happened with the Piper Cubs. At the end of the war, there were so many DC-3s having been produced for military transport during the war that literally thousands of them were available, and they were mostly stored in places like Arizona, where the air is very dry and there is no corrosion. And so during 1945-46, all of the world airlines went to Arizona and bought for ridiculous sums, and they bought DC-3s. British European Airways started life again with DC-3s. Alitalia, Air France, Lufthansa, every airline, Iberia, every airline in Europe and in the world went to America in 1945, 46, 47 and bought DC-3s out of the rows of hundreds of them stored in the desert. And this is how air transport was born. Now you can see that there is some activity on the ground. Everybody's starting the engine and getting on the runway, while the DC-3 is performing his last passes. We are going to perform what is Flying Legend's signature act, which is the Balbo. Admiral Balbo was this pilot, Italian pilot, who during the 1930s, late 20s and early 30s, he had a big political influence in Italy with Benito Mussolini at the time, and he convinced the Italian powers that aviation was very important as a symbol of one country capability in terms of industry, technology, science, and which was true at the time because Italy was one of the leading powers in aviation, in world aviation. For instance, the speed record with a float plane by Aramaki, which was 709 kilometers per hour, was Italian. And so Admiral Balbo wanted to demonstrate the power of the Italian industry by setting up some mass flights during military occasions or during for specially designed events, and he organized a mass crossing of the Atlantic by a force of a few dozens of flying boats from the Italian Navy, and after that the name Balbo stuck to any formation, mass formation flight. And here at Duxford, for Flying Legends, the idea of the Balbo became the norm. And so every year at the end of the afternoon, on Saturdays and Sundays, under the command of the chief pilot of the show, pt21, flying the Bearcat. Not all, but a great number of the aircraft involved in what you have seen during the afternoon get ready to perform the Flying Legends Balbo. This is it. One Bearcat, two Corsairs, a lot of Mustangs, Sea Furies, Sea Fury, only one, the other one Wildcat. More Mustangs. Messerschmitts. 3 of them. Nearly a dozen of Spitfires. Curtis's P40, Merlin engine, P36 and Hawk 75. And already in sky a P-38 and a B-25. And now everybody is going to join up. The problem is to bring all these aircraft together, and that's the leader's problem. The leader is Pete Kinsey, as I told you before. Pete is a commercial pilot. He flies big jets for airlines, and but at the same time he's a glider pilot. He's a mountain pilot. He flies in the Alps in Méribel in France using a Piper Cub on skis. He flies up to glaciers, and here they are. I can see the two, the B-25 and the P-38, speeding up in order to get to their position, which will be tail end Charlie's at the end of the Balbo. Now the problem is to take, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 plus 13, that's what? That's 25. 25 aircraft altogether in the sky, and do that mass flyby while the Gladiator is arriving. This is a Joker, and that's an act which is unique to Flying Legends. It's an idea which occurred in the mind of Stephen Gray, the founder of the Fighter Collection, and when Stephen and company organized the first editions of Flying Legends and put the Balbo act into the scenario, Stephen said, well, at the end of it, it takes time to form up all these aircraft, so we need to have a solo act flying aeros on top of the airfield while Pete Kinsey and company are formatting. And so for years and years, the Joker role was Stevens. And then Stevens, after a while, said, well, now I've done my thing, and let the young ones take over. And so now today, it's Nick Stevens' son who flies the Joker. And Nick has decided he was going to fly the Joker using the Gladiator. So here is our Joker. Let's take just a short moment just to say hello to someone we loved. He was a pilot, but also he was a musician. And he was crazy about flying. His name was James Horner. James was from England, went to Hollywood, became a superstar over there, signed some of the most outstanding musical tracks of Hollywood history. And James even wrote a piece for a trio of Mustangs called the Horseman. And sadly, a few weeks ago, James went flying and never landed. So let us just say that these loops and curves traced in the sky by Nick with the Gladiator are our salute to James Horner. And yes, James came to Flying Legends quite often. He was there hanging around. happy as a bird. Now, where is that Balbo? What makes the Joker demo a challenge? It's the time it takes to pt21 to sum up the Balbo. But it's delightful to be able to look at this old biplane tracing circles in the sky. The what? Some people would say, well, it's quite easy. You just say, okay, let's get together and form up and have a big formation and do a big Balbo. Yeah. Problem is that when you try to do the thing for real, it takes a little time. It's a big formation is something very elastic in the sky. You've got it's quite easy up front, but the more you go backwards, the more the system becomes just like an accordion, and you get to bring it up together. And here it is. Hey, look at that. I was telling you about James Horner a few minutes ago. This is a piece of music by James Horner for today's Balbo. Thank you, James.
his neck with a flowing mane? Do you make him leap like a locust, striking terror with his proud snorting? He paws fiercely, rejoicing in his strength, and charges into the fray. He laughs in fear, afraid of nothing. He does not shy away from the sword. The quiver rattles against his side, along with the flashing spear and lance. In frenzied excitement, he eats up the ground. He cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. At the blast of the trumpet, he snorts. Aha!